If you're confused about what's happening with rents in Australia, you can be forgiven. And that's especially so if you use news media as your main source of information about what's happening in residential real estate. The information, or perhaps more correctly, misinformation in news media is highly confusing and in many cases contradictory, with one headline saying the complete opposite to another. Here are two headlines that appear on the same day, the 10th of January, about the rental situation. One said, "The worst is over, slowest rise in rents in 4 years." And the other one said, "Affordability crisis, tenants feel the pinch as rents continue to surge." So as usual, Australian real estate consumers need to look elsewhere, somewhere other than mainstream media, to find out what's really happening in housing markets. Now, one of the strange things about residential rents, which pops up regularly in news media, is the bizarre notion that the latest stats suggest that the rate of rents growth is slowing, then tenants across the nation will be celebrating. They're apparently popping champagne corks because the rate of rental growth currently is less than it was a year ago. So let's be clear, the greatest wish of tenants is not slower growth in rents. It's not for rents to stop growing, and contrary to the apparent belief of the Greens, they don't want a rental cap. What they want is for rents to fall. People who rent in Australia, which are about a third of households, want to see a bigger choice of places to live in. In other words, they want higher vacancies and they want rents to come down. There are two main reasons why that isn't happening and cannot happen. Because vacancies are at historic lows, as they have been now for 3 years, and there are no remedies for that problem in sight. And two, because interest rates are persistently high and the owners of rental properties need higher rents to cover their costs. But having said that, it's clear that in some locations, rents have reached a ceiling and are unlikely to go much higher in the short term. Tenants cannot keep paying higher and higher rents and higher proportions of their incomes on rental accommodation. That's why the rate of growth in rents has slowed in some, but certainly not all, locations across Australia. But the true wish amongst tenants for rents to decline is highly unlikely to happen anytime soon.